Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Amka Podcast. I'm your host, Ali bin Zaidi, and today I've got this special guest. D. D is in the house, is in the building, bro. What's popping, man?
What's good, bro? Appreciate you having me on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, man. Thank you so much for being here on Amka Podcast. Just like I was telling you recently, like we met on Thread, bro. Like that was really, really hectic.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, D. So, if I was about to asking you, like, who are you? Like, just a little bit of introduction to the people that are watching this, please.
How would I introduce myself? I would just that's what you're asking, right? Like how would
Correct.
I describe myself? Oh man, recently, whenever somebody says what do, I just say whatever it takes, bro. Oh, because that's really the truth. I mean, if you have to put a word on it, I would say entrepreneur, have a business, also
Yeah,
digital nomad, been traveling since 2021.
yeah.
Those are the main two things, man. Running a business, traveling, and then, my main objective is to help other people around the world achieve their dreams.
Wow, wow. That's really amazing, man. I like the word like digital nomad. So you've been living in how many countries? Like for now?
Mexico, Colombia. I lived in Turkey, Hungary, Spain for a little bit, Albania,
Yeah.
and now Morocco. So like six or seven.
Albania, bro. You've been in Albania, really?
Yeah,
How is Albania? Like I've never seen so many people from Albania.
it's nice, bro. I think it's a hidden gem. It's very like affordable, good vibes. Like it's a good vibe. People are nice. It's chill.
So you can understand a little bit of Albanian.
Like a very shumpak, which means like very little.
Albania. I mean, how many people are living in Albania? Like it's really like a small country,
Like
isn't it?
I don't know, like 2 million or 3 million maybe or something like that.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I
It's like
get
New
it.
York
I get it.
City, basically,
Yeah.
if not smaller.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
like population,
really?
I think. Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay. New York City ain't like 8 millions of people, like in New York.
yeah. It might be more people in New York than there are in all Albania. I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a very
yeah,
small country.
yeah, yeah. Are you from New York originally?
No, I'm from Indiana originally.
Oh, oh, okay, okay. Oh, I see my man. Who's that? Reggie Miller? Is that Reggie? Reggie,
Reggie
Reggie,
Miller. Yeah, yeah.
the legend, the legend. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, so what pushed you? Like, what inspired you to go travel the world? Like at your age? Like, yeah, I'm sure you're still young. Like, how old are you now?
My birthday's in like a week or so. I'll be 34.
Oh, 34. Same age like me. Oh, okay, 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 okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 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 okay. That's it's a. How do you feel being 34, bro? Like, you feel some pressure or what?
No, I'll never feel pressure, bro. I'll feel good.
Amazing. Okay, okay, okay. Oh yeah. So what's the cultural shock that you find from like outside of America, like Colombia, Mexico, Albania, Morocco, France? So I'm
I
sure.
think I've
Yeah.
never been anywhere where it was like such a shock of like I can't believe they're doing this here. Maybe if I go to Asia, maybe I'll have that. But I think the
Mm,
biggest eye-opening thing for me is like in America in the US, they say it's widely believed that the United States is the best country in the world for people that live there that are from there. But at the same time, I think like 70% of Americans don't have a passport. And so they're saying it's the best country because someone told them that, not because they know that it is. So the belief is that other countries are dangerous, they're underdeveloped, it's not safe, blah, blah. When you go to places, you're like, it's safer than the US, it's nicer than a lot of places in the US. Not everyone in the world is dying to move to the US. And it's like, you just realize like a lot of things you've been lied to. Like there's very nice people, it's very affordable. So I think it just opened my eyes up to like I think the United States is one of the best countries to be born in. I think a lot of people might not argue about that, like in terms of being able to have the opportunities and able to, the passport is strong. But I think in order like to live, I think not necessarily. So you don't realize that until you start traveling. I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. I met a couple of Americans. I've never heard somebody from America say just what you're saying right now. But I'm going to be honest with you. Like, m- for example, us, many of us, or few of us, I can put it that way. Being born in Africa, we we used to have like that stereotype of being brainwashed about America, about Europe. Like they used to sell us this thing called the American dreams. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then after growing up, you started to see meeting people from all around the world. You watching the news. I'm not talking about the cable news, but individual news, and you just see like you see people close your closest friends like travel all over the world, the places you've never been, and you just see like it's not what they used to tell us, right? Like
Right.
me personally, I used to have a lot of uh I like Japan so much. I've never been in Japan, but and then my friend that we were living through together during the pandemic went to Japan and spent about some couple of months over there, and then he came back and started to telling me some bad stuff and good stuff about Japan, and I'm like, okay, now I got it. So I'm like, I think it's just good to travel, to learn, to observe, and to know things, but every country has his bad side and a good side. But this is the first time I get from Americans. Like, but now I also get so many. We see so many Americans now, like they're living abroad now. I think they decided to discover that America is not only the great place to be in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great country. It's a great country, bro. So, w- do you like Morocco?
Yeah, Morocco. Actually, I'm going to answer that, I think, in the best way possible, which is I don't know. Because I think sometimes what people tend to do is they go to
Yeah.
one city and then they say, I love Morocco. It's like, how do you know? You went to one city. You went to like
Mm.
not even 1% of the whole country. So if someone said, do I like living in Casablanca? I can answer that question and say, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like, I haven't been to a lot. I know there's a lot of different things uh, about Morocco that I haven't experienced, but Casablanca, in my experience so far in Morocco overall, is it's been dope.
Yeah. 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 That's very good. Like you are a digital nomad. So a digital nomad. I mean, like that's really impressive, bro. So if I was to ask you, like, how do you make your living? Like you go places and places. I believe you are married. Like you go all over with your family, your wife, or like you just alone.
Yeah, we've been traveling together right now. So my wife already had a daughter before we got married. So every now and then she has to go back and see her biological father. So they're in Orlando right now. But for the most part, like we've been all traveling together, like for the past 4 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yo, bro. So, how do you make a living? Like, traveling is expensive. Like, bro, like, what's the secret? Like, because people want to live like you. Like, people want to go places. So, what do you make? Like, what do you do to to afford all those trips and up and down?
Yeah, so the thing that allowed me to do it originally is I had like a what you would call like a high ticket coaching program. So I was helping at first churches use social media to attract new visitors, and it was like $3,000 lifetime to work with us. So we would sign up in between like 5 and maybe 10 people a month. So when
Yeah.
you're signing, let's say for example, I have a good month and I sign up 10 people, that's 30K right there in a month. So like being able to make that type of money, it's like you can pretty much travel and do whatever you want.
And the people always like coming every time. Like, what? How do you do to get like the people?
So like social media, running ads, different things like that, but mainly social media and running ads.
Where do you run your ad? Google Ad.
No, I don't have that business anymore, but I would run them on like Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. That's pretty good, bro. Like, so tell me more about your membership. Like that time I was checking, you gave me a free trial for 7 days. I saw it's really, really, really good. Yeah, I saw some testimonials, people talking about fears that holding them back from achieving their goals. Everybody, everybody, if you're watching this, okay, let me just put it in a simple way. Like, if you're in South Africa, if you're in Africa, if you are in Europe or Asia, I'm gonna be just a little bit clear. D Green can help you achieve some of your goals. He's not God that's gonna help you achieve everything, but he's gonna lead you to a pathway you can achieve some of your goals. Because I remember that day, you were asking me if I've achieved some of my dream goals, and I said that couple, yes, but not all of my dream goals. So what do you think is the most common, um I don't want to call it mistake, cause of holding people back from achieving their goals in general, because you've helped so many people like achieve their goals?
I mean, there's really only two things. Either people are too afraid to get started, they never get started. So if you don't ever get started, then you're not going to achieve it because you didn't do anything. And then the next
Yeah.
one is they give up before they achieved it. Those are only really when you boil it down to really what stops people. Either they don't get started or they give up before they actually achieve it.
Hmm. Is there any reason why they give up? Like, oh, they're afraid of, like, they're scared of, like, doing things. There must be a
My
reason.
my answer would be that because they're not undeterred. You know what I mean? Like if you're undeterred, it doesn't matter. I think there's different things for different people. Uh, there's different reasons. Sometimes people. I mean, if I had to give it a word, I would say people don't get started because they're too afraid. People give
Mhm.
up because they're doubtful. They doubt that they will be able to achieve it. Because if you're 100% certain that, like, if I told you, hey, with 100% certainty, there's $1 million in your backyard, you just have to dig a hole and you'll get it. But it's there for sure. And if you dig, you 100% will get it. That's not a if 100%. People would be back there digging until they get it. The question is like they have a doubt if they don't know. They're wondering, is the $1 million actually there? Will I
Mm.
actually ever be able to find it? But if you know 100% for sure, then you will just go get it. So people just doubt if they'll ever be able to achieve that thing is usually what it comes down to.
Okay, so and that's where you come from, and be like, you know what, I'm gonna help you go through this, right?
Yeah, what I realized for me is I was like, I wanted to propose to my wife now. I wanted to propose to her in Paris, and I was like, up until that point, I wanted to be in the NBA, and I got a scholarship for college, but then I gave up. Basically,
Sorry, man.
I wanted to be a rapper and a producer, and then like when I didn't know how to make money with that, like I stopped doing that. And so I was like, man, I don't want to keep going through my life giving up on these dreams because I know I'm good enough to do these things. So I was like, I'm just going to see what happens if I just don't give up on this dream. I don't care if I get evicted. I don't care if I get kicked out. I don't care anything. I'm just going to stick to it. And when I did that, everything worked out. There were some times where I was scared and it felt like, man, I'm going to get my apartment taken away, this, and this. But I stuck with it and everything was fine. And then I later came across the word undeterred and I was like, oh, that's what I had to do. I had to just like refuse to give up no matter what happened. And so that is what I realized that I had to do and what other people have to do. It's just like, if you're undeterred, it doesn't matter what setbacks or challenges or fear or doubt that you have. Like you will overcome those things.
Yeah, 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 yeah. How long do you think it's taking people to overcome those fears?
Their whole life, they never do. Most people never do. That's why you see most
Mhm.
people working a job that they don't like, living in a city that they don't want to live in, complaining about how much money they have, complaining about what country they're from, complaining about their skin color, complaining about the government. They don't ever overcome it. There's very few
Mm,
people. The people that most people know that are achieving their dreams are the people they see on TV,
mm,
people they see, in movies. But if you left your house right now and you knocked on the doors, most of these people have not ever. They don't know what it feels like to overcome those fears. And if they do,
yeah,
it's usually in like one area of their life. Maybe they figured out how to get a promotion or start a job. But when it comes to traveling or learning another language or you know moving somewhere, like they haven't done it. Like most people
yeah.
aren't just like, hey, all the dreams that I have, I've pursued it, I've chased it, I never gave up on it. You know?
Mm. Wow, wow. Guys, this is so deep. This is so amazing. Like, I really get you. I really understand you. Uh, man, I think fear is natural, and people, it's just natural at the point where you need to have mentors. You need to have, I mean, people like you, like, you know, to be there for some people, because it's really not, cannot be transmitted just like, you know just like this. It's really need to be, um somebody has to push you off your limit, so you
Yeah.
can, you can start to like be like, yeah, I got this,
And I
and I'm
think
gonna do this.
the thing I would add is like I used to say like, hey, I'm helping people overcome their fears and their doubts. And I think what I've realized over time is like it's not about overcoming your fear and your doubt. Because I think that makes it seem like it's gonna go away. Like, oh man, I
Yeah,
have a fear of doing this and it's not. I don't care about that. It's not about does the fear go away, does the doubt go away. Like I have fear all the time. I have doubt all the time. It's about doing it anyways. So
yeah,
my goal is not for you to be confident while you're doing a podcast and to be like, hey, I have no fear and doubt. My goal for you is like you're putting out the episodes. You could be
yeah,
afraid, you could be doubtful. That's going to be part of the game. It's like
yeah.
even Joe Rogan probably has days where he's like, what am I doing? Like, is this going to work? Are people listening? Everybody has these fears and these doubts. It's like, how do
Mm,
you achieve your dreams despite that? Great. You're afraid to move out. You're in Kenya and you want to move to another country, but you're thinking, if I move to this country, how am I going to survive? How am I going to make money? How am I going to do all this? It's not, let's overcome those fears and then do that. It's like, no, let's do that even though you have those fears and figure out how you can still do the things that you want to do. So I think
mm,
that's one thing that a lot of people, they're like, I need to overcome my fear. It's like, for me, I really don't like bugs. I hate bugs, bro. So like if I see a bug and I have to kill it or pick it up, like I don't want to do that. It's not necessarily like if I see one, I need to overcome the fear. It's like I just need to pick it up even though. And over time, if I pick up enough bugs, like I won't have that fear anymore. It'll be less. But if I just sit and I try to read about it and do all this stuff, like I think people they're like, I need to be more confident. Like everybody is always waiting to do something. Like people will be like, "Oh, D, I want to join your program, but right now is it's not the perfect time. It's not the right time. I need to think about it. I need to do this." And it's like thinking about it. Like I need to start asking people, how has thinking about it changed your life in the past? Tell me
mm,
something that you really wanted to do and you did it by thinking about it. Because you know what I mean. That's not how you change your life. You don't change your life by thinking about it. You change your
mm.
life by doing something about it. Now, yes,
Exactly.
you need to take time to make decisions, but what most people do when they say they need to think about it, what they're really saying is, I'm afraid. I know this is what I want to do, what I need to do. I'm afraid to take action. So give me more time. That way, hopefully, the time makes me more comfortable. But it's not the
Mm.
time that's going to make you more comfortable. It's the decision, you taking action and doing it. That's why when you go skydiving, it's not let me think about it. It's like they're just going to push you out. Like you're already up there. And it's like you're going to overcome that fear or else you're just going to be afraid on the way down. There's not let me think.
I don't like those things, man. Like, yeah, I think for that one we're gonna put it. I don't like those skydiving and stuff. I don't like them.
Which is like that which in that scenario that might be something that you just don't want to do, right? So it's like you don't need to just face your fears just for the sake of doing it. But
Yeah.
let's say if that was, let's say if the plane is burning, the plane is going to blow up and they're like, bro, you have to jump. It's not, let me think about it.
Exactly. You're gonna have to jump. Yeah.
You have to do it. And so like that's how people's lives are. Like everything is burning around you and you have an opportunity to move forward and you're like, let me think about it. You don't need to think about it. You've already thought about it. You know that this is what you need to do. You know this is the right decision. You know that. But you're afraid and you think that in order to make decisions in life, you have to not be afraid. You have to not be doubtful. So people are trying to
Yeah.
fix that. It's not fix
Yeah.
that. Take action. You're going to be afraid. You're going to be scared. Like when women have a baby, bro, like that's a scary thing to do. Like, but if you just don't go to the hospital because you're like, let me think about it, you're gonna hurt yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta go in there and let them handle that. Why you gotta have to deal with it? So that to
Ex-
me is like what Undeterred is about. If you want to achieve your dreams, you can't let any of these things hold you back. And it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be scary. There's gonna be fear. There's gonna be doubt. But we're doing it anyways. And that's harder
Yeah.
said than done. Which is why I created the membership to help people do just that.
Wow. 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 So, well, this is super deep, guys. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this, um, you want to achieve your goals, don't hesitate to go to D Green. I'm gonna drop the link down below there. You can reach him at anywhere, just like how we are doing this podcast. It's a virtual podcast. I'm in Cape Town right now. He's in Casablanca, Morocco, Northern Africa, and look at this. Like this is really beautiful. So that day you asked me about um me achieving my goals. I said some of them, but not all of them. Uh, I'm not sure I'm gonna ever achieve all of my goals because I'm too spiritual, man. Like uh I'm not just about materialistic world. I'm very spiritual. Like my soul is really like always thinking about some spiritual things like God and stuff like that. I really don't for me I see like financial status is just like a bridge, um, to help us living in the world that we are living right now. But when it's coming about success, I don't define success as to like travel the world, like being a millionaire or billionaires. Nah, I don't define success like that. I define success as being in a communications. Like how close are you to to the Almighty? I know it might be fine. It might be sounding like a joke, but I've I've seen so many people define success in their way,
You,
and
you know,
it's gonna.
you know how I define success.
I think everybody has his own definition of success.
But
For me, I just put it. Yeah.
you know what my definition of success is?
How do you define it?
My definition of success means you achieved something. Failure means you didn't. I don't know why everyone complicates it. Having
Yeah.
a car is not success. Being closer
Yeah.
to God is success. Success means did you achieve it or not? So for example, if you start a podcast and your goal is to have 1 million listeners, and my goal is to have 100, and you have 900,000 and I have 100, that means my podcast is successful and yours isn't, right?
I don't know.
That's the
That's your
definition.
definition of success.
That's what the word means. The word means success means you achieve something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like people have their own achievements. It's not just based on materials or numbers.
But I'm saying the word success means you achieved something.
Yeah, exactly. I do agree with that. It means you achieve something, but you can achieve something that it's inside, not outside.
Yeah, so that means being successful means that you're achieving the things you want to achieve.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I will give you so I was scrolling one day on my TikTok and I saw this guy is a millionaire. He probably a billionaire from UAE. And then they ask him a question. He's a Muslim guy. They ask him a question: are you successful? And then he re-asked back the question, what do you mean asking me if I am successful? how do you define success? And they were asking him about materials, the number, the company that he created, and how many money they scale, like how many money the like the financial status and everything and stuff like that. He was like, we made a lot, more than billions and billions of dollars of money, right? Everything, if I wanted to start something, I can start it even right now. And I can finish because I know the way of starting and doing things, right? But if you want to ask me about success, I'm going to be like, that's, there is one goal I've never achieved. I don't know how close am I to the Almighty. And that's what I'm praying, to be successful, to be close to Him. So automatically I learned something, that we, like the human being, we're privileging so much numbers because that's what we've been introduced to. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have this, means you're not successful. If you have this, means you are successful.
That's
Thinking
what I'm
about
saying.
that.
I think
Yeah,
it doesn't neither. It does, successful to me means that you achieved something. Because there's what else would you be? You can't have success without a goal. So in order to know if someone's successful, you would need to know what they're trying to achieve. I can't look at your podcast and say, is it successful or not? Like I said, if you have 900,000 listeners, someone could say you have
yeah,
a successful podcast. But if your
exactly.
dream is to have a million, it's not successful because you didn't succeed in what you're trying to do. If somebody's dream is to be married and they're a millionaire, they're not successful because their dream isn't to be a millionaire. Their dream is to be married. Does that make sense? I
Mm.
don't know
It
why we
does.
have
It
to,
does.
like, people complicate. It's like, what does success mean to you? It's like there's no, what does it mean to you?
I
You
think.
can
I think.
right. It's
I
success.
think. I
You did
think
it.
we should. Yeah. I think we should just leave it like that, because I've seen so many people define successful, having food on the table, sleeping in the house, having a family, which is, I see like that's a great things to bring in the world, like bringing kids, getting married, and stuff. It's like, are you
Oh,
fulfilling like God's promises and stuff like that? And then we come to the world where it's like material status that makes us shine among other people. So it's a lot of things, but that's why we can just let it be like
yeah.
the
That's
way
why I
it
think
is.
the way I think about it, I think it gives people the freedom, and maybe this is kind of what they mean. But to me, success means it's black and white. Did you achieve what you wanted to achieve? If you did, it was successful. If you didn't, it was a failure. So
Yeah,
now you get to define what is it that you're trying to achieve. If all you want to do is have food every day, then it was successful. But if you're
exactly.
if you're in the NBA and you're in the playing professional basketball and you're like, the
Yeah,
goal of this season is to win an NBA championship, and you don't, and you're like, oh, it's successful because we had food on the table. No, that could mean it was good. That means you're blessed. That means you have things to be thankful for. You can show gratitude, but you did not succeed in what you're trying to
yeah,
do, which means it was not
yeah,
successful. If I'm a taxi driver and you tell me, hey, drive me and drop me off at my house, and I don't drive you off at your house, but we had a good conversation and you had
yeah,
food on the table, it wasn't a successful trip because I didn't take you where you're trying to go. So the taxi
yeah,
driver can say, well, my version of success is that you had fun and there's air conditioning, because you know what I mean? Like for me, it's just like success. I wish everyone would just make it simple. It means that you achieved the thing. Yes, success. Failure means you didn't. All the stuff in between is just, are you thankful? Are you gratitude? Are you grateful? So now the
yeah, yeah,
only way we can know if someone is successful is you need to know their goals. What is this person
exactly.
trying to do? So if my goal is to live in Asia, you can't look at me as a digital nomad and be like, he's successful. Well, did he never lived in Asia like he said he wanted to. So that means that it
Yeah,
wasn't successful. That doesn't mean that he didn't do good things. That didn't mean that he didn't do great things. But his goal was to eventually live in Asia. And if he never did that, then that means that it wasn't a success. I don't know
yeah,
why.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, what
Well,
is your
well, I mean, in general, the world is complicated, so everybody come up with his own idea, and it is what it is. Um, all right. So, how do people get hold of you? Just like by your social media, or do you have any website that we can link?
Yeah, I
We can
think
drop the link in the
the
description.
easiest way is on Instagram. Just go to my Instagram. There's links in my bio. You can DM me, and that's at D Green. So D,
Yeah,
two E's, green like the color, Green, and then an E at the end, Greene. So
yeah.
Greene.
I'll drop the link, guys. If you wanna chat to the man who's talking right now, the man the I mean D is in the house, is in the building. If you wanna chat to him, I'm gonna drop the link in the description there below. So tell us about you said you play college basketball. You wanted to be a rapper. Like what happened to you? I didn't hear the story. Like, what happened to you? Did anybody come to mentor you, like to inspire you to do something in your life so you can see clarity? Because I believe you need to have in order for you to have a goal, you need to have a clarity. So when you switch from basketball to rap, that's that was unclear, bro. Like, can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, I mean, so growing up, I was already passionate about those two things. It wasn't like I was playing basketball and then the next day I was like, oh, I want to rap. I was already doing both at the same time. So growing up as a kid, those were my two like favorite things. I was like, I wanted to do both. um, as I was, getting into college and playing basketball, and I started playing with other college players, I had just had this, I think, fear and doubt of like, I'm not big enough. I'm not strong enough. I didn't weigh a lot. I wasn't muscular. I didn't really go to the gym. So I was like, man, in order to be, in the NBA, I'm gonna have to be really big. I'm gonna have to be really strong. I just felt like, man, I'm not gonna be. I can't do this right now. So the thing that I
Mm,
wanted to do instead was to rap, which I'm very good at. But I was like, I don't know how to make. It got to the point where I'm like, I don't know how to make money doing this. I don't know how to do. I just don't know how to make money doing it. And then there's a lot of pressure from my family after you graduate of like, man, you got to get a job, you got to have benefits, you got to do these things. And I was just like, man, I just don't know how to do this. So I stopped doing that. And I was like, I'll just listen to what everyone said and I'll get a job. I'll try to do this. So I started going down that path. And I was like, why the hell am I listening to everybody that's living a life that they're not really happy with? And again, that's why I don't like this whole definition of people's success because it's basically you're making an excuse for being a failure. To me,
exactly. Yeah.
successful means you've had a lot of successes in your life. You said you wanted to do something and you achieved it. And then you kept
Yeah.
achieving those things.
Yeah.
Not being successful means that there haven't been a lot of things that you've really wanted to do. And so I was
Yeah.
like, a lot of people, it's not that they're not happy, not that they don't have food on the table, not that they're not great people, but they're not successful in the sense that they haven't achieved a lot of the things they really, really want to. And I'm talking
Mm,
things outside of the things that people are going to like having a kid. Great. You wanted to do that, but anyone can do that. You know what I mean? Like having a job. Great. I'm not saying that it's not an important thing, but it's not like, hey, I've really wanted to use my talents to do this. I really wanted to have this job. I really wanted to move to this place. Things you intentionally have to do. And I'm like, why am I
yeah.
listening to all these people that aren't really fulfilled in their life? Because if I do what they're doing, I'm going to get similar results. So that's when I was like, I had dreams before. I pursued them, but I gave up when it was hard because I also had other businesses. And when I didn't know how to make money, I was like, I just got to go to the next thing. I was like, instead of going to the next thing and the next idea, I'm going to focus on this until I achieve it. There's no giving up. There's no quitting. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how hard it gets. And once I did that once, and then I did that twice, and I did that three times, it just became a lifestyle. And I was like, now I can achieve everything, anything I want. So now I achieved those dreams, and I knew that God was saying, hey, go and teach other people around the world how to do this because there's people, Cape Town, Kenya, wherever around the world that need this information. And then as I'm helping them, I'm going to start achieving more of my dreams. So I'm going to go back and achieve those other dreams that I had. So some of that stuff that might appear to people that know me over the years of you gave up on this,
Yeah.
I did at the time, but now I know that some of that stuff was just a break and I'm going to get back to it. So in 10 years time, you're going to be like, dang, this dude was a digital nomad. He had a business that he wanted to start. He lived in this country. He put out an album. He put out a book. He put out like all these different things. Like even one of those things would be someone's like, man,
Yeah.
this is like my dream. This is the one thing I wanted to do. So to do multiple of those in one lifetime is what I want to do to then show other people, hey, if I did it, you can do it too. But also, I have a a membership in a community and a business that will help you do it too. So it's not just you seeing me on TV
Yeah.
with my necklace and my Mercedes and my Lamborghini saying, "Yo, I did it. You can do it too. Believe in yourself." It's, "Hey, I did it. Let me show you how I did it." And that's what I want to do with my life now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I will be saying like that was like a self determination. So like it didn't come from nobody. It's just like came from yourself and the pressure that you had from your family, and that pushed you to
Yeah, I
become who you
mean,
are today.
I think one I will give one, like, my family. It's not that they weren't supportive. It's that they weren't supportive in me like chasing my dreams. And it sounds bad. Like, I know sometimes when I say it like that, they can seem like, "What do you mean I wasn't there for you? I gave you money or I helped you." And I'm like, that's very different than telling someone to keep going when it gets hard. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
two different things. And so I think the person that helped me a lot, changed my mindset, was Ty Lopez. I started watching his videos, and he's like, "Man, you got to have mentors. You got to read books. You got to, like, these are the things you got to do." So I started reading books. I started getting into personal development. I started actually, I think a lot of people are just going through life, and the only studying they ever did was in school, and they don't do self
Yeah.
improvement. They want the world to change, but they don't change themselves. So as I started
Exactly.
reading these books and getting into things, my mind started opening. And I was like, if I want to live a different life, I have to become a different person. I have to do different things. So I started going on this journey, reading books, doing different things. And then that's when, over time, like, my life just started changing.
Oh yeah. What's the best book that you read that changed really brought a biggest impact, a positive impact in your life?
Oh, that's a great question. Other than the Bible, of course, I would say it's hard to pick one, but I think Think and Grow Rich was like the first book that I, like, self help book that I read that really, that probably, yeah, if I had to pick one, it would be that book. That was the book that
Yeah.
got me, like really thinking differently. Like, I remember when I read that book, I would go to I would go to the Lamborghini dealership in Orlando, Florida. Like, they had the Lamborghinis and Ferraris. I would go there like every week. I would wear a suit and I would go there. And I was like, I can't even afford one of these, but I just want to surround myself in this type of energy. And I think a lot of people are too embarrassed to even go look at a mansion, to even go whatever it is that they want. They're afraid to dream bigger. They're afraid to go do those things. And that book got me thinking differently of, like, bro, you gotta, if you want to do bigger things in life, you really have to change your mindset. You know what I mean?
Mm. Think and Grow Rich. I think that book is popular everywhere, but um, I think people read things the wrong way because if Think and Grow Rich change your life, that's, I'm not saying completely change your life, but brings out the best out of you. I've read so many people, Dale Carnegie, that's Napoleon Hill, yeah, that Think and Grow Rich. Um, I think I don't know about there, but I think people here read things in the wrong way because I've seen people that read so many books, but their life doesn't change. Do you know? Do you have any say about that?
Yeah, I think that's most people. Like, again, they're reading and then they're thinking. And it's ironic because the book is called Think and Grow Rich, but I think a lot of people, they read the book and then they're waiting for the perfect time. People don't take
Yeah,
action. They read a book and then they go, "Ah, that's great." Saying that is great, nodding your head and reading all the way to the end is not going to change your life. You have to take action and you have to do it
yeah,
now. So if you read Think and Grow Rich, it's not even wait until tomorrow to do something. Do something today. And a lot of
yeah,
people think, oh, for example, I want to start a podcast, but I have no equipment, so I can't start a podcast. That is the wrong way to
yeah,
think. The
yeah,
right way to think is, I want to start a podcast. I don't have any equipment right now. What can I do today? So
yeah,
instead of getting depressed about it, do you even
yeah,
know what equipment you would get if you had the money? So
yeah,
at least you can go on the internet for free and watch videos of what's the
yeah,
best podcast equipment to get. You could go on Amazon. You can make a list. You could go and watch other podcasts. You could subscribe to other people's channels. You could figure out what businesses can I create to make the money. If you don't know how to make money, you can go on Amazon and buy books on how to make the money. So there's always something you can do right now, but people are always waiting until the perfect time. Oh, let me think about it. There's nothing I can do right now, blah, 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 blah. That's why there's so many people that tell me, like, I need your help. And then I'm like, cool, I'm going to give you a free 7 days. And they're like, yeah, but I don't have money right now. It's not a good time. What about after the 7 days? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, why is your mind so programmed to think of excuses? It just doesn't make sense. If you don't have
Mm.
money, take advantage of what someone's giving you for free. Before the 7 days, cancel it. Use it now. But in your mind, you're instead of thinking after the 7 days, I will have the money. This is going to help me change my life. Instead, people think, there's no way I'll have money in 7 days. There's no way my situation will improve. There's no way life will be better a week from now. Why are you constantly telling yourself that things are not going to get better? You know what I mean? Like, so
That's
all people think about. It's like they're just thinking it's not
that's
going to be better. It's not going to be helpful. I'm like, that's the problem. Because if
yeah.
you would instead see that God is giving you the opportunities that you want, but He's not giving you a year's worth of opportunities. He's giving you an opportunity now. For example, when I knew that I wanted to come to Morocco to learn French because my dream next year is to move to Paris, I had a I was staying at a place in Albania that would let me pay the rent like when I had the money. So my fear coming here was like, man, if I don't have that and I give them the money that I have in my bank account now, in a week or two, I might not have that money. And then I'll be in Morocco, no place to live, not enough money for a plane ticket. What will I do? But God gave me enough money to buy the plane ticket and to get a week's of it, not even a week. It was like four days of an Airbnb. That's I came here with enough, with like $50 basically. But when I came here and I met the guy, he told me, bro, I like your energy. I'll block off the rest of the month for you. And then you can just give me the money. But
Wow.
if I would have
Wow.
just thought, if I would have just thought, oh, well, it's not going to work out for me. It's going to be bad when I get there. No one's going to,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, like, if I just always think like that, every time God gives me an opportunity, I will never do anything. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
what God typically does is He's giving us what we need now. But because we can't see how it's going to play out in a week from now, we don't take action. And it's the stupidest way to think. And that's how so many people think. And it's like, if you just realize God gave you what you needed today. Like, for example, you could think a lot of people would be like, I can't have a podcast because I don't have a perfect camera. Also, I don't want to record it in my kitchen because people can see it behind me. It doesn't look
Yeah.
professional. My
Yeah. Yeah.
microphone, I don't have the perfect. Bro, God is telling maybe you or whoever else, like, you have enough to get D on your podcast or whoever else. Like, they will come on there now. They're not even worried.
Exactly.
And maybe that episode is the episode that's going to get the people attracted to what you're doing to then give you the money or the exposure to
Exactly.
the other stuff that you want. But if you're always thinking this is never going to work, blah, 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 that's
Yeah.
why people stay stuck in their life. It's like you just have to take
Yeah.
action of what you have now.
Yeah. It's like me actually personally, uh like like look at me, like right now we are doing this and I'm like, uh I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to have like the cameras and all those equipment, like shooting just like a proper podcast. And I'm like, no, bruh, I'm procrastinating. Right now, I should be inviting people on my podcast and
Yeah.
people coming, sharing their knowledge. And that's what people want because it's gonna bring more people. And as much as they're coming, I'm gonna keep on growing slowly. Small growth is what I need like right now. I shouldn't just be like being there and waiting for the right time to buy a fancy camera, to buy fancy equipment, and then started to invite people. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do it. And I look at one of the biggest journalists in the world right now, like Piers Morgan. I don't know if you know him. Most of his interviews are going viral. They are virtual interviews. And I'm like, why me? Why not me? Then I can
Exactly.
do it, you know? Then I can do it. And then I'm like, I don't need to wait for the fancy cameras and cameramans behind the camera and do that. I can just pay for this software like $30 per month and I can do that. I can invite anybody, like whoever they are in the world. And that's like the biggest advantage, you see?
I
So
feel like I feel like I'll speak in general, but to kind of specifically to you. I'll talk specifically to you, but and then people can apply it to what they're going through. It's
Yeah.
like you don't even deserve to have a big podcast if you're not able to record in your kitchen like you're doing right now. And I
Yeah.
think we have this idea of like, oh, it's almost like we're entitled. Yeah, but I should have a nice camera. I should have a big audience. Why? You're not even willing to put in the work, bro. Like this is like one of the you want to make a living talking to people on a microphone when there's people working in a field all day in a hot sun. You know what I mean? Like 10 hours a day. And we just want to sit
Yeah.
on a comfortable couch having a conversation, getting millions of listenings and getting paid, but we can't turn on the camera when we're in the kitchen. So that's what I mean. When you have the undeterred mindset, it's like, bro, I don't care. Like for me, bro, when I first had a podcast, like years and years ago, I just had a phone, no cameras. I took my phone, I sat it down, and I hit
Yeah.
record on the Apple voice memos, and then I would just post those onto my podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to do something. I can't wait until the perfect time. And there's so many people out there that aren't going to have a podcast when they have something to say. They could get great guests, but they're like, this has to be perfect. This has to be perfect. This has to be perfect. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what's not perfect? Not
Yeah.
chasing your dreams because now you're afraid. So how dumb do you look? I would rather look dumb in my kitchen making a podcast than look dumb at a job that I know I'm not supposed to be at because I'm not doing any podcast. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'd
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
really pursuing my dream than look good not chasing it.
Not pursuing your dream. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like
Exactly.
the cool thing is like when you have that mindset, you will achieve
Mm.
it. If the for the people that are willing to record in the kitchen, you have a mindset that's different, bro. It's like I will get to that point. And also people can look back on these episodes in a year or two and be like, yo, look at how nice his setup is. If you ever even want to change it, let's say if you do, it's like, man, bro's getting so many listens. I remember when he did the episodes where it's like he was in the kitchen. And that is more inspiring to people than waiting
Exactly.
till you have the perfect setup, you know?
Mm. That's more inspirational. That's really, really because I've always looked back at the biggest YouTubers right now, like the way they started, and then you see like it was just like the beginning, and then new people now they coming, like we coming, and then we don't want to start from scratch, and then that's what kills us because we're thinking
Exactly.
about being big, but we don't want to start small. That's that's a killer. That's really a killer. All right, bro. Like, man, really enjoying talking to you. Do you have any word of advice to the people that are listening, to the people that are watching us? Guys, if you're watching this, please follow D. I'm gonna drop the link in the bio, in the description. You can sign up to his membership. Okay, so when somebody's signing up for your membership, what do they get exactly?
Yeah, so the whole purpose of the membership is to help you be undeterred. That way you can achieve your dreams without fear, without holding you back, right? And
Yeah,
so we have Undeterred University. This is me teaching you how to actually be undeterred. Because a lot of people, if I'm just on this podcast, I'm like, hey, just go out there and just do it anyways, be undeterred. What does that mean, right? It's like a lot harder than just believe in yourself. And so this is me showing all the different things that I've had to do to be undeterred. So I'm actually teaching you how to do it. That way, nothing holds you back. So it's like
yeah,
me putting my brain into your brain. Then we have an online community where you can connect with other people chasing their dream. So let's say if let's say you right now, right? You're like, all right, I want to do this podcast. I have a dream of whatever it is, but most people around me aren't chasing their dreams, or they're telling me to give up on mine. Bro, you're recording in the kitchen. You're never going to be able to do this. You need to be in an environment of other people that are chasing their dreams that are going to encourage you and inspire you to keep pushing and that you can get feedback from. So that's changing the environment that you're in. That's the community. Every
yeah,
day I do a daily check-in to make sure people are making progress. So, hey, is there any questions that you have? Is there any fear and doubt that you have? Making sure, so you have someone that actually checks in on you. And then
yeah.
I do live calls as well. So every week I'm doing a live call where you can come on and you can ask questions, and I am personally helping you with achieving that dream. So
Mm.
those are the things that you get access to, and again, people can just sign up for free for a week and test it out.
Okay. So, guys, I think you guys heard that. Like, and Detroit, if you want to be in Detroit, that's the guy. That's the right guy over there. Like, he's been all over in the world. Like, you never been to Asia, right?
Yes, but no. Like I've been to Turkey, but people say that doesn't count, even though it's in Asia, like
Nah,
Istanbul.
that's the Middle East. Turkey is actually part of Europe, but it should normally Turkey should be in the Middle East, but because the Ottomans, like, yeah, the
Yeah.
Turkish Ottomans. So,
So we'll
but
say no.
they, hmm?
We'll say no. No, I haven't been.
Oh yeah, yeah. But so he's been places. He's a digital nomad. He knows how he can help you. Surely he can help you, and you can help yourself. Personally, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna join. Like, I'm
Go.
gonna join. So you're gonna have to. If you want to elevate you, if you want to uplift your life. I mean, this is one of the secret that I learned. We always try to take things uh, in our hands just alone, but deep down there we need some guidance. We need somebody to lead us in somehow. Not every time, but sometimes we need it, you see. And this is why actually I wanted you to come out here and explain to people, and you've done it, bro. Like, thank you so much, man.
For sure, bro. And then to answer your question, you said, is there anything I would leave people with? I always say the same thing on every podcast, which is if you've made, there's going to be some people that listen to a podcast episode, and there's going to be an even smaller percentage of the people that are listening all the way to the end that make it to this
Yes.
part, right? People drop off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of those people are going to do this, right? If you can see the video, and if you can't see it, if you're listening to it, I'll describe what I'm going to do. They
Yeah.
listen to it, they hear what we're talking about, and they nod their head and they're like, "Oh yeah, that was good." And they might even share a clip of it. They might even comment on something and say, "I needed to hear this. This was good." The thing I always say is nodding your head and saying that you needed this is not going to change your life. That's not going to
Exactly.
do anything for you. So listening to us, nodding your head and saying, "Oh, this was great," and being pumped up does not do anything for you. It will not change your life. What you have to do is you have to go take action. You have to go do something. So as soon as you're done listening to this, do something that is going to get you closer to to achieving your dream. And again, it doesn't have to be a huge thing. You don't have to join my program. You don't have to go buy a microphone. Do something. It could be as simple as I've always wanted to move to Asia, but I've been afraid. I listened to this podcast. Now I'm going to change the background of my phone to a picture of Bali. You could do that in 2 seconds. Go to Google, save the picture, change your background, and then it's a reminder. And then the next day you do something. So there's always something you could do. Maybe you're not subscribed to this podcast. So you're like, oh, I need more episodes of this. Let me subscribe. That way every day I'm listening. But just don't be the person. Like there's going to be some people, even though I'm saying this, that just nod their head and the next year they're going to be in the same spot, if not worse. So to
Exactly.
whoever needs to hear this, next year, make sure that you're thanking yourself that once you got done listening to this, you did something different. There's a version of yourself that's already living that dream that you want to live. Like it's already happened. You just now have
Mm,
to wait for it to get there. So that person is waiting for you to do the things that will help you get to that point. You know what I mean?
exactly.
There's already a person that has like there's a version of you that already has the podcast listeners. But
Yeah.
he's like, bro, put the episodes out. Do these things, bro. Like that's how we're gonna get here. Like just do it, bro. I'm here waiting for you, but you have to do these things. But
Yeah.
if we just always go, yeah, that was great, that was awesome, like we're not gonna do anything. So that's the thing. Be like that 1% that every time you hear something, you go do something about it, and it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
big. Do something, and if every day you do at least one thing that gets you closer to achieving that dream, even if it takes you 5 years, you do it. But most people do nothing. So that's the thing I always tell people, bro. Do at least one thing, and it's not even for yourself today. Do it for
Yeah.
that version of yourself in a year. That way, when you like, for me, bro, like in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
I got on a call with this business coach, and they told me it was $10,000 to work with them. And at the time, I had like $2,000 that I had to pay for rent, like in a
Mm.
couple of days. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, I don't have this much money. Even if I gave them everything that I had now, I won't have money for the rent, and I still have to make like $8,000 of more money. But I was thinking, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm gonna be stuck. So even if I can't pay them the money and they kick me out of the program, it's the same thing as me not being there in the first place. And like, at least this gives me an opportunity to change my life. And I
Mm,
invested in it. It was hard. I couldn't make the payments moving forward. I got kicked out of the program. I kept
mm,
pushing. Eventually, I made money. I made enough money to pay them to get back into the program. And then I
yeah.
kept pushing. I wanted to give up. And eventually, that same year, I built a six-figure business. And the next year, I
Wow.
became a digital nomad. And every day
Wow.
that I'm waking up, I'm like, bro, I'm thanking myself, bro. I'm so thankful that even though you were afraid, even though you were doubtful, you invested that money and that you didn't give up, bro. Because now I, 4 years later, get to wake up in Morocco, Albania, Hungary. I get to be on these podcasts with you. I get to talk to people. I get to be around the world, bro. That would have never happened if my past self would have not taken action.
Yeah.
And it's very selfish if we're only thinking about, yeah, but what about, like, you got to be smart. But if you're only thinking about yourself now, there will never be a future version of yourself that's doing bigger things, because all you ever thought about in your life was you now. So it's not about
Wow.
you doing you today. There's a
Yeah.
version of yourself out there that's already achieved the things you want to do. Right now,
Yeah.
you have to do the hard things. That way you can get there. And then once you get there, you will be so thankful to yourself. Like, bro, bro, there's gonna be a day when you're gonna be so thankful to yourself. Like, dude, I'm so thankful that you recorded those episodes in the kitchen and you didn't wait until you had
Exactly.
the stuff. You're gonna be so thankful, bro. And then everyone's gonna tell you, yo, you're lucky, overnight success, all this stuff, and you're like, what? You're like, hey, I had to do all this hard stuff to get here, bro. And that's the stuff people
Exactly.
don't do. So
Ex-
even if it's only you, and maybe it's just me even talking to just you.
Yeah.
Don't be the person that listens to this and just nods their head and goes back to living their life, because you just wasted an hour listening to this podcast for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure like you want the views, but bro, like, for yourself as a person, you just wasted an hour of your life to listen to something, to nod your head and go. Like, you could have done anything in the world. So
Exactly.
even if it's one thing, like changing the background on your phone, even if it's like calling a friend, even if it's following someone on YouTube, even if it's making yourself a voice note, whatever it is, do one thing that you wouldn't have done otherwise. And if every time you see a piece of content or have an idea, you take action, like, it's going, even if you don't achieve that dream, your life is going to be so much better than everyone else in the world that pretty much does nothing.
That's what most people need to hear. Guys, if you're watching this, you listen to D, man. Like, you got to take action. Even if it's a small thing, small things are always contributing to the big things. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot just jump from 1 to 10, but you can start from 1 to 2, 3, 4, right? So do not be afraid of taking a small action. This is exactly why I say that people reading books in the wrong way, because most people just wasting their time. Bro, if you come to Cape Town, you go to Signal Hill. There is a place there. It's called Signal Hill. People like to go there. People go to read. You see people with books and stuff like that. You're going to the beach. You see people are reading. Like, every time you go to the mountain, but at the end of the day, you see like nothing is changing them. It's because, like, I'm being honest, man. Like, seriously, it's because people don't want to take any small action, because once you read about Think and Grow Rich, as you said, me, for example, I read this book like in 2020. It's called The Science of Getting Rich, and
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna be honest with, I'm never finished the book. You know why? Because I got to a chapter where uh, the I think it said this book is not philosophical, but is pragmatical, right? The first word just hit me so bad, and it's like it gave me the clue of the entire book. If they say the book is not philosophical, it's pragmatical. If you define pragmatism, it's a science of doing things. So they're just telling you directly, if you don't do, anything, you're not gonna be successful as you wish to be. So, and I stopped. And since then, I just started to practice things. If I had something in my mind, I'm just setting goals, and I know maybe at a certain time I'm going to do this. Whether I fail or I succeed, I'm just gonna do it. I'm never continue to read the book, and it's one of my favorite book. I just read the summary and stuff like that, but I knew like I have to do things in order for me to continue to read this book, because even if I continue to read the book, they will be giving me a lot of chapter to do things, so I have to do things, and that's it. So I
100.
understood. Yes. So people, we got to take action, bro. We really need to take action. A small action. It's gonna take you far in 6 months, in 1 year. Yeah, man. Yo,
Yes.
brother D, man. I can't thank you enough for being here today on Amka podcast. Actually, Amka means wake up. It's a Swahili word. Like where I came from, we speak Swahili, so it means wake up. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the meaning of Amka, like Amka, wake up.
Let's go.
So yeah, man. Man, thank you so much for being on Amka podcast. I'm gonna try to share the good news, the good words all over. And if you're watching this, please don't hesitate to hit the button, like, subscribe, and share with your friends, so we can all become undeterred. We can all become unstoppable. We can all motivate each other, like to take a small step forward, so we can achieve those goals that we always dreaming of achieving. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my brother, man. I'm gonna have to wish you good night. It's in Morocco now. It's 10:27 in South Africa, Cape Town. I'm pretty sure it's 9:27 that side.
Yes, sir. 928.
9:28. Okay, champion, man. Good night, then.
Appreciate you, bro.
Anytime, my brother. Appreciate you, man.